Hello and welcome to our Monday night Bible study. We're continuing in the book of Ecclesiastes. It's quite a book. I see it seems like I intro it this way every time. It's very honest, and it's questions that we all have, and sometimes I think it's good to acknowledge the fact that we can have questions, and God doesn't get mad at us, and it's okay. So we've made it all the way to chapter 2. Good for us. Ecclesiastes chapter 2. And I don't know where my mouse cursor went. There it is. Ecclesiastes chapter 2 and verse 1. I said to myself, Come on, let's try pleasure. Let's look for the good things in life. But I found that this too was meaningless. So I said, laughter is silly. What good does it do to seek pleasure? After much thought, I decided to cheer myself with wine. And while still seeking wisdom, I clutched at foolishness. In this way, I tried to experience the only happiness most people find during their brief life in this world. I also tried to find meaning by building huge homes for myself and planting beautiful vineyards. I made gardens with parks and filling them with all kinds of fruit trees. I built reservoirs to collect the water to irrigate my many flourishing groves. I bought slaves, both men and women, and others were born into my household. I also owned large herds and flocks, more than any of the kings who had lived in Jerusalem before me. I collected great sums of silver and gold, the treasure of many kings and provinces. I hired wonderful singers, both men and women, and had many beautiful concubines. I had everything a man could desire, so I became greater than all who had lived in Jerusalem before me, and my wisdom never failed me. Anything I wanted, I would take. I denied myself no pleasure. I even found great pleasure in hard work, a reward for all my labors. But as I looked at everything I had worked so hard to accomplish, it was all so meaningless. Like chasing the wind, there was really nothing worthwhile anywhere. I said to myself, come on, let's try pleasure. Let's look for the good things in life. But I found that this too was meaningless. He's taking stock of all human experience. The phrase we've talked about, under the sun, this is anything that we can grasp at, we can reach in this life. And so in this great experiment that Solomon is embarking on, the first thing he's going to try to satisfy this need is pleasure. And as a child, as a kid, it's a thing that kids look for. Kids want candy. Kids want presents. Kids want these things. Kids enjoy. They enjoy basically being spoiled. They enjoy getting the things they want and being able to do the things that they want to do. We all do. We never really grow out of that. And so he says, what I'm going to do is I'm going to try pleasure first. This is going to maybe it's going to be simple, right? Maybe the answer to this question about the meaning of life and the struggles that we all face and all that, maybe it's going to be easy to figure out. Maybe if I can be happy enough, if I can satisfy this desire in my heart with things and with stuff and with experience, and maybe that's going to be the thing that's going to make it better. And so he's not stumbling into this as somebody like he's not accidentally falling into this hedonistic lifestyle, right? He's entering into this as an investigator. Like, this is what I'm going to do. I'm making a decision to experience all that my world has to offer, and see if this is a thing that will work for me. So he said, laughter is silly. What good does it do to seek pleasure? So Solomon, as he is wont to do, he gives us the conclusion that he comes to before he presents his argument. It's an interesting rhetorical device that he does, and I think, again, I don't know, because I am neither Solomon nor am I the wisest man in the world, but I think that there's something to the idea of, I'm gonna tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to tell you the results that came from that, and then I'm going to explain to you the steps that I went through to achieve the results that I got. It's almost like reading the abstract at the beginning of a scientific paper. This is my plan. This is the conclusion that I came to. Now we can all get together and we can look and we can discuss the process by which I arrived at this conclusion. I will tell you the steps that I took, and then you, if you can criticize each individual part. You can say, well, maybe you didn't do this enough. Maybe you didn't have enough money. Maybe you didn't have enough time. Maybe you just didn't try something. And so Solomon is using this setup to show you everything that he has done to arrive at the conclusion that he has come to. Now, so we're gonna get into some of the stuff that he did. He's not trying to surprise you. He's not trying to shock you that, I did all this stuff and it didn't work. He's telling you right up front, all the stuff that I did didn't work. Now let's get into some of the stuff that I did. After much thought, I planned it. I decided to cheer myself with wine. What I'm going to do is I'll just see if I can drink myself into a stupor, and that's going to solve my problems. And while seeking wisdom, I clutched at foolishness. I know what I want is an eternal thing. What I want is the wisdom of God. What I want is the meaning. What I want is understanding. What I want is what I want is something greater than I have. But I'm gonna see if I can get to it through foolishness. And so in this way, I tried to experience the only happiness that most people find during their brief life in this world. He pursues pleasure, but his wisdom is fully intact, right? He's not, he doesn't cast aside the wisdom that he has. He doesn't throw that away. He doesn't get rid of that because of the pleasure that he is pursuing. He holds it. He keeps it close to him. And this becomes important later, but understand that this is not a naive person that just did it wrong. This is not somebody that just wasn't looking in the right place and wasn't doing the right things. He wasn't doing the things he was doing for the purposes of the experience themselves. He wants to see, can this satisfy? Is this something that is going to make me better? Is it something that's going to raise my level? Is it something that is going to fundamentally change me? And so we think to ourselves sometimes, I'm smart. I can handle this. I can go into this. I can go through this through my own strength and through my own ability and through my own wisdom and through my own whatever good quality we think we have in ourselves. And Solomon is saying you're not going to find anything down that road. There's nothing down that road except really just kind of emptiness. It's not going to satisfy what you want. So Solomon's conclusion can't be dismissed as ignorance. It can't be dismissed as foolishness, because he says he retained his wisdom, the wisest, most capable, richest, whatever you want to say, he had it all. Person on the planet runs this experiment at a maximum scale. Right? This is not something that he's doing a little bit. He is devoting all of his time, all of his money, all of his ability into seeing whether or not pleasure is going to be the thing that is going to fulfill him. And if the conclusion that Solomon comes to is that pleasure is insufficient to give me the thing that I desire, it's not because he lacked capacity. It's not because he didn't try hard enough. It's not because he didn't have the ability to do it, but it's because the thing itself can't bear the weight that it was put on it because it's not meant to. Pleasure is not meant to replace. Pleasure is meant to, and we're going to get into some of this at the end. But it's a good. Pleasure is a good, but it's meant to point to something. It's a sign that's meant to point to something beyond itself. Pleasure is not bad. It's not good to have fun. It's not bad to have a good time. It's not good to enjoy yourself in the company of friends. None of that is bad in of itself. It's bad. It becomes foolishness. It becomes vanity when it is the thing, when it is the goal, when it is the end, because it can never be the end because it's never going to satisfy. I also tried to find meaning by building huge homes for myself and by planting beautiful vineyards. I made gardens and parks and filled them with all kinds of fruit trees. I built reservoirs to collect the water to irrigate my many flourishing groves. So, we've got, let me go back to me. We've got houses and we've got gardens and we've got orchards and we've got pools, and this is civilization building. This is legacy building. Maybe it's not good to just, have a party with my buddies. Maybe what I can do is I can make it to where people are going to remember me for generations. I can set myself up to be. I'll build statues to myself. He wouldn't have built statues to himself because he was Jewish. I'll build monuments to myself in the same way that I would build statues, because I want people to look back on what I've done and say, "Oh, the great days of Solomon. Oh, it's going to be an awesome thing." I want generations of people to look at me and think about all the good and the sacrifice and everything that I did for them. And this is going to be my goal. My goal is going to be my legacy. My goal is going to be the orchards. My goal is going to be the pools. My goal is going to be the buildings. I'm going to have houses. I'm going to have everything that I want. I'm going to have a legacy. And finally, people are going to look at me and say, that's a dude that he really had it together. And these are not trivial hobbies. Understand, this is not, and I keep going back to it, but I think it is difficult for us to grasp the ability that Solomon had. This is not me trying to, going out and building a shack on a quarter of an acre and saying, "Look at what I've done," right? People still pray at the Western Wall, that is the foundation wall of the temple that Solomon built, right? This is not some little bitty trivial thing. This is not some tiny thing. This is not some nothing thing here. He is doing things that will stand for generations to come. But for him, it's not enough. For him, it's not going to satisfy him. I'm going to look at it and say, Solomon's awesome. That doesn't do any good for Solomon. It doesn't change Solomon anyway if I think that Solomon is awesome. He doesn't care if I think he's awesome because Solomon died. And this is the point that he is making. All of this stuff that you're going to do, if you do it for now, it's all going to be vanity. So, the buildings and stuff kind of didn't really satisfy. So I bought slaves, and both men and women, and others were born into my household. I owned large herds and flocks, more than any of the kings who had lived in Jerusalem before me. Well, look at me not being able to work technology anymore. I collected great sums of silver and gold, the treasure of many kings and provinces. I hired wonderful singers, both men and women, and had beautiful concubines and everything a man could desire. I've got it all. Solomon says, I've got it together. Everything that you could want. I don't have to do anything. I've got servants that handle everything that I need to do. I've got livestock. I've got land. I've got treasure. I've got entertainment. I've got relationship. everything that you think you want in your life, Solomon says, I've got it. Everything that you're giving your life to pursue, everything that you are struggling to get, everything that you're reaching for, everything that you're grasping for, Solomon says, I've already got it. I've had all of it. And, it doesn't mean what you think it's going to mean. So count when we've gone through this, and maybe go back and look at it in verses 4 through 8. The number of I's. It's I made, I built, I planted, I gathered, I acquired, I did all this stuff, and I did it for me. I made for myself. I made for myself pools. I made for myself buildings. I made for myself houses. I acquired for myself treasures. I acquired for myself. I did all of this for me. And so the goal, not only is the thing a thing that's not going to work for Solomon, the goal is a thing that's not going to work for Solomon. This is a diagnosis. This is the problem. All of the pleasure that I seek, all of the things that I'm reaching for, all of the things that I'm grasping for are for me. Ultimately, it's selfish. Ultimately, I'm focused on myself. Ultimately, I'm turned inward, and the more inward I turn, it doesn't expand my world in any way. The more inward I am, the smaller I become, the meaner in not in the angry sense, but in the little sense, and the more petty I become, the nastier I become, the more bitter I become, the more sensitive I become, the more apt I am to lash out, because as I've reached and I think we all, I'm setting myself up for something. I'm going to do something great. I'm going to make money so that I can give more money to the church, right? I'm going to make I'm gonna make, boy, if I win the lottery, I'm gonna give all that money. I'm gonna give so much money to the church. It's gonna be awesome. But what happens is you're gonna win the lottery. Well, you probably won't win the lottery. Don't play the lottery. It's as people have said, it's a tax on poor people. Don't play the lottery. It's not good. But you win the lottery, and now I want to give money to the church, but I want to dictate how that money's spent. I want to tell you what you can do with it. I'd be more generous if I thought they would appreciate it more. I'd be better if I thought they would do better with it. And so since they won't, I'll just hoard this to myself. I'm gonna turn further and further inward. And Solomon says, I've had all of it. I've done all of it. I've done it, and I did it for me. I've done the thing that you want to do. Look at your Facebook feed. Scroll through it. It's about me. It's everything. Our entire world is focused inward on ourselves. How can I look good for you? It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if I'm a good employee, as long as I can post pictures of myself doing work and people think I'm a good employee. Doesn't matter if I spend an hour and a half setting up that video shoot of me doing 63 seconds worth of work. As long as you can see me being a good employee, as long as you can see me being a good helper, as long as you can see me being a good parent, as long as you can see me being a good person, as long as you can see me being a good husband, it doesn't matter if I really am or not. And so everything is turned inward on me, because I want to be the spotlight. I want to be the center. And so Solomon is saying it's not ever going to work. It's I, and I am never going to be able to satisfy myself. And so he says, I became greater than all who had lived in Jerusalem before me, and my wisdom never failed me. So wisdom is mentioned again, just like it was mentioned in verse 3. I don't want to do that. Let me see if I can get this back. Almost closed the recording, and that would have been tragic, because then I would have had to do this all over again. And second take is never as good as the first one, because it's It makes more sense. And Lord knows I don't like to make sense. Wisdom is mentioned again here, just like it was mentioned in verse 3. And so his experiment's complete, right? The controls are, so I started this thing out and said, I'm going to do all this and I'm going to hold my wisdom. And at the end of it, I remind you, look, I held the wisdom. I've got it. I've got it under control. I did the thing that I said I was going to do. And now comes his assessment. Anything I wanted, I would take. I denied myself no pleasure. I even found great pleasure in hard work, a reward for all of my labors. There we go. Back to this one. A reward for, he's not saying that it was joyless, right? There is genuine, and this is what I'm going to go back to. And I warned you that there was going to be a turn coming at the end. And so this is what it is. He is not saying that there is nothing to pleasure. He's not saying that there is nothing to seeking. He's not saying that there's no joy in it. There's joy in hard work. There's joy in a job well done. There's joy in hanging out with your friends and eating dinner and just having there's joy in spending time with people that you love. Temporal pleasure is real. Solomon does not deny that. Solomon does not say, when he says that it's vanity, he's not saying that it's not good. He's saying that it's not the end. It's not the thing that you seek after, and it matters because it's not. The book of Ecclesiastes, understand this, the book of Ecclesiastes is not a call to asceticism. It's not a call to give up everything. It's not a call to just, wander off into the mountains somewhere and live, sell all your stuff and freeze to death because you don't have shoes, right? Don't pretend that that's what this is. And it's something that we tend towards as Christians, as people. If I tell you that if you get the revelation that something is bad, whatever that is, something is bad, then what we usually think is the opposite of the bad thing must be good, and the further in the other direction I can go, the better off I am, the better off I'm going to be. So seeking pleasure is good, therefore the least amount of pleasure that I can have in my life, that must make me good. That must make me holy. And that's not always the case. There are people, probably, for whom that is true. But in general, and again, wisdom literature is not rules. Wisdom literature is general principles. Wisdom literature is principles. In general, it is better to understand that temporal goods do not necessarily tend to eternal goods. They do not necessarily lead to eternal goods. But temporal goods in themselves are not bad. Temporal goods only become bad when they replace the eternal good that we're seeking. Temporal goods only become bad when we are reaching for something that they're never intended to replace. And so, but I looked at everything and I looked at everything I'd worked so hard to accomplish, and it was all so meaningless, like chasing the wind. There was nothing really worthwhile anywhere. And this is stepping back from everything that he's looked at. This is stepping back from the experience to evaluate it honestly. Remember, he told us early, this is where I'm going to go. This is the conclusion I'm going to come to. Is this working? Does wisdom bear the weight that I'm placing on it? And so is this going to be the thing that is going to hold up under the weight of eternity? It's not. It's just vapor. It's vanity. It's breath. It's not something that we can build on. It's grasping at the wind. It's real effort expended to gain hold of something that just doesn't have a lasting meaning. And again, it's under the sun. It applies within our frame of our earthly limits and what we have here. It does not say that these things are evil. It says that these things are not the goal. And that distinction is everything. We look around our culture today, and everything that we see is about now. It's about here. If you can get the newest iPhone, if you can get the newest MacBook, if you can get the newest car, if you can eat at this restaurant, if you can buy this drink, if you can just do these things, look how your life will be. If you'll notice, advertisements very rarely showcase the product. They showcase the life that you will live if you have the product. If you're going to, Stetson cowboy hats don't advertise the quality of the hat so much as they advertise the lifestyle of the man roping and riding and all that stuff. An alcohol advertisement doesn't advertise the product. It advertises the lifestyle that the product leads to. iPhone ads don't really advertise the product. They advertise the fact that all the cool kids have the iPhones. All the cool kids have the Androids. All the smart kids have the Android. Whatever. But it's all wrapped up in, if you have this, then this can be your life. This can be your goal. This can be the end. And Solomon looks at it 3,000 years ago and says it's not going to satisfy you. More beauty, more accumulation, more money, more wealth, all of these things. It's never going to be the thing that is ultimately going to make you happy. Solomon runs this experiment at the most extreme scale imaginable and says it's not going to work. It's not worth it. You're not going to, at the end of the road, you're not going to satisfy the things that you have. Solomon is going to talk about later. We're going to talk about the eating and relationship and all of this stuff as good. Work is good. Work is helpful. Work is something that there's a time to do it. But the problem is not the pleasure in itself. The problem is the emphasis that we place on it. The problem is the weight that we place on it. And eventually it is not going to stand up. And so that demand, the demand that this pleasure, that this good, that this achievement, that this whatever is going to satisfy me eternally, is the thing that causes it to turn into an idol. Solomon's search is for something that is not going to go away. Solomon's search is for something that is not going to evaporate, and he cannot find it under the sun. The restlessness now has a shape. And so the New Testament says in Colossians, Jesus is before all things, and in him all things hold together. So Jesus is the one in whom this thing coalesces, in whom this thing holds together. And so if we pursue him, we can have the other things. Seek ye first the kingdom of God and his righteousness, and then all of these other things will be added unto you, because the thing that we seek is eternal, because the thing that we seek is a thing that matters. The things that don't matter can be added to us. And frankly, if you get Jesus, it doesn't matter if you get wealth. If you get Jesus, it doesn't matter if you get healing. If you get Jesus, it doesn't matter if you get pleasure. If you get Jesus, it doesn't matter if you get any of this other stuff, because you have the thing that your eternity can be built on. This passage is not pessimism. Again, the book of Ecclesiastes, it belongs in the category of pessimistic literature, but it is not about hopelessness. Ecclesiastes is about hopelessness in searching for eternality in temporal things. You're never going to find eternal things in temporal things. And so Solomon prepares the question, what do we seek after? And Jesus provides the answer. Seek ye first the kingdom of God and his righteousness, and then all these things will be added to you. So thank you so much we've gone through verse 11 of chapter 2. We may finish up chapter 2 next week. And we are just flying through. We're going through this way faster than we did James. So everybody ought to be happy. This one was long. I apologize. I love you. God loves you. Thank you for watching. Lord bless you, and I'll talk to you next week.